Hello and welcome to the Talking Shit Podcast Blue Review of Robocop. The original Robocop is one of those lightning-in-a-bottle films that doesn't come along very often, and like many surprise hits in the past, the circumstances probably formed the film more so than anything else. What we get with Robocop is one of the best tongue-in-cheek films of the 80s period. The story, like it was straight out of a comic book, is an original tale set in the near future of a police officer named Alex Murphy, played by Peter Weller, who recently transfers to the Detroit PD, who themselves have recently been privatized and bought out by a huge corporation called OCP. The company is a satire of huge corporations at the time, but much like a lot of the technology and other things in the film that it predicted for the near future are very horrifyingly close for comfort. OCP is in the process of trying to rebuild and privatize the city of Detroit by building their utopian version called Delta City. His first day on the job, out on a call with his new partner Lewis, played by Nancy Allen, Murphy is gunned down by a terrible drug dealer and his gang. Kurtwood Smith steals the show as the manic gang leader Clarence Bardiger. In the meantime, OCP is trying to develop a robot officer that has military implications, headed up by the VP of the company, played by the always versatile Ronnie Cox. The Ed 209 keeps running into issues though, so a young exec, Bob Morton, the recently late Miguel Ferrer, speaks up and proposes his Robocop program that is ready to go, utilizing cybernetic technology, hoping for a human element in the program of the robotic officer. Murphy, who dies from his injuries, is a perfect candidate, and Robocop is born. Murphy tries to come to terms with losing who he was, yet still being a machine. Murphy obviously still possesses a soul and is trying to come to terms with that battle, and it is the true fight of the film, though the action is grade A 80s goodness. On its surface, Robocop looks like a big dumb action movie, but it's the subtle way that it takes us through Murphy's journey with just as many Jesus parallels as it does with comic book characters. The screenwriter and director, along with Peter Weller's over-the-top portrayal as a robotic cop, is almost satire on what you would expect, and you could easily overlook the nuances in the way that Weller gives us much in the short time we get to know him before the character's death, and the subtle way his transformation back to humanity again after losing it is the true heart of the film and what holds it all together. Director Paul Verhoeven understands how to handle this very fragile story that at any time could have turned into silly Saturday morning fodder. The name itself caused people in Hollywood to laugh and no one took it seriously. Verhoeven knew though that the movie had to be in-your-face satire so that the joke wasn't the star but the world he was built to serve and protect. Robocop is a perfect 10 out of 10. Robocop was not just a great film in and of itself, it spawned a franchise, and still has a strong fan base to this day. With sequels, TV series, animated shows, toys, video games, and even a remake, Robocop became the type of character he was satirizing. Just the same, the original film is a must for anyone's collection. There have been 2 Blu-ray releases. The remastered version is superior for quality and having all of the special features carried over from the 2-disc DVD years back. The features include a Q&A session with members of the cast and crew, including Weller and Verhoeven, 2 documentaries about the making of the film with a lot of great interviews, and a 1987 vintage featurette, another pair of featurettes, one on the villains and the other on the special effects, a couple of deleted scenes, a great commentary with Verhoeven and the writer and executive producer. A DTS 5.1 track is the nice cherry on top of this wonderfully looking remastered Blu-ray that has a solid picture and is a big improvement over the original release years ago. This latest version is widely available by itself or in a trilogy box set, but Shout Factory has just released Robocop 2 and 3, so you can check out my reviews on those and decide the best way to spend your money, if you want the trilogy or if you want to buy them separately. The remastered Blu-ray from MGM gets a decent 7 out of 10 stars. Even though it's filled with features, they are all carried over from the previous version mentioned, and the R-rated cut is not present on the disc, only the unrated, which, considering it's only a few simple shots and nothing more, it isn't a big deal. But just for the purists out there, I docked it a point for omitting it as an option, and a couple more points for double dipping and not adding anything new to the special features, but at least finally giving us all of the special features from before and not just some. I'm trying not to be too harsh because it is still a great disc. Keep talking shit.